Welcome to Fun to Be Fit Over 50, real health and wellness that fits your real life. My name is Carol Denman, and this is where knowledge meets action. You already know what to do. Now let's talk about actually doing it. You know those people who come into your life, drift out, and then show back up exactly at the right time? That's Cyndi Uelen for me. I met Cyndi back in the early 90s when we were both in our 20s. And honestly, I have loved her from the start. She's just one of those people, warm, genuine, the kind of person you feel better just being around. Life took us in different directions, but over the years, we kept finding each other. She came to my gym, she took some of my challenges, and fun fact, she's the one who hooked Lee and me up with our honeymoon spot in Cabo. So I owe her for that one too. Cyndi was always a corporate girl, director of HR and training all over the country, leading teams, helping others grow. And from the outside, her life looked incredibly successful. But behind the scenes, she wasn't thriving. She had gained about 50 pounds. Her energy was gone. And like so many of us, she was putting everyone else first, including her career, while quietly putting herself last. So in 2019, at 51 years old, she made a decision that changed everything. She chose to focus on herself. And over the next 51 weeks, she lost 51 pounds. Now, here's what I need you to understand about Cyndi. When she left corporate to start her own business as an executive career and lifestyle coach, I took notice immediately because she's a natural-born teacher. She has a gift for explaining things in a way that just clicks. And I feel privileged to say that she has taught me, personally, so many things that have changed my life. I truly love and admire this woman. She has walked her own path, done the hard work, and now she helps other women do the same. If you've ever felt stuck like I did when I finally called her, if you're over 50, your energy is gone, and nothing is working the way it used to, you're going to love this conversation. Please welcome my dear friend, Cyndi Uelen. Okay, so Cyndi, your website says, my first success story was myself. Can you share a turning point in your life that led to your personal transformation?
Yeah, it happened in 2019. I was a director of training and development, traveling all over the country, supporting my teams, and at the same time, running household and cooking before I'd get on planes, just trying to be, super mom, super this. And I reached a point where I just wasn't feeling well. I had lost energy, no motivation. And I just asked myself a simple question. Is this how I want to feel going into the next decade of my life? And the answer was no. So I decided it was time to put me first. It's not something that's selfish. I thought it was selfless. And so that's what I did. In 2019, my biggest transformation was I was 51 years old. I lost 51 pounds in 51 weeks.
Woohoo! That's amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. Aw. So you were just burnt out and you just got to a point. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I I understand that. Okay, so you talk about living a fasting lifestyle. What does that actually mean, especially for women over 50?
So, like I said, I was 51 when I made this transformation. And just one of the tools that I had in my toolbox was living a fasting lifestyle. And so I was introduced to intermittent fasting like 16 hours and eating in an 8-hour window. And that really was something that worked for me. I got a little bit of energy back. I lost a lot of that weight because of that. And gosh, that was just a great tool for me.
Oh, that's great. So how did your experience transitioning from perimenopause to menopause impact your health, and how did fasting play a role during that time?
Yeah, so those were some pivotal years. So I had kept all the weight off for several years. And then about 2 years ago, felt like I was going through that, coming out of perimenopause. And coming through to the menopause years, and some of that weight gain came back and some of that lethargic energy tanking. And
Hmm.
I kind of thought, oh, it's probably my hormones, but I wasn't sure. And so I really started to tap into different fasts at the time, and it was really working for me.
Ah, that's great. So you mentioned that fasting isn't a one size fits all. Can you explain the importance of varying your fast across different stages of perimenopause, the transition year, and postmenopause?
Yeah, so I was trying different types of fasts, whether it be, say, your traditional intermittent fasting and all these different types of lengths of fasts, up to 72-hour water fasts, um, which in my opinion, I had to try these different things to see what was gonna work for me, what's gonna work for my body. So that's why I don't think it's a one size fits all. You really have to tap into different lengths and types of fasts.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And I love that, like, I know you're certified as fasting coach through Mindy Pelz, but can you kind of explain what your certification is?
Yes, so Dr. Mindy Pelz is we call her like the queen of fasting. She wrote Fast Like a Girl, which really taps into different types of fasts and hormones and habits and lifestyle. And so I was so I don't know, it just resonated with me and it worked for me to regulate my hormones, balance my hormones. And I was already doing very good habits, but it
Yeah.
was just this whole different ways of fasting that I became certified under Dr. Mindy.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love Dr. Mindy Pelz. She's great. I love too because you're a coach, as a coach, we just naturally want to share with other people what we feel helps us, to share. So it makes total sense that you got certified with that. Totally.
Yeah.
How does a fasting lifestyle impact energy levels and overall well-being?
Yeah. So when I first started fasting, I felt like, okay, this feels like restrictive. But what I really figured out is it was healing. And when I first started fasting, I felt like, oh, my energy isn't getting better. But once your body gets used to fasting, it's actually detoxing. So, of course, you're not going to feel great because, you're eliminating toxins, you're balancing hormones, and you're losing weight. And so there's this energy part. But after you fast, your body gets used to having a fasting lifestyle. Oh my gosh, I got my energy back. Your body makes ketones, which makes the brain fog go away, and so many other benefits to it. And energy was a huge one for me.
Ah, oh, that's great. Yeah, yeah, it makes sense that while you're fasting, especially in the beginning, you're releasing those toxins, so everything's kind of stirred up. So you've mentioned that eating clean is only half the battle. How did mindset work and self-coaching play a role in your ability to keep the weight off and build confidence?
Yeah, so this one is personal to
I
me.
love this one too.
I know. It's you can do all the right things. I can do all the right things. I can eat well, I can exercise, I can take my supplements and drink my water. Do all create the morning routines and these healthy habits. But unless you work on your mindset, the way you talk to yourself, the stories you're telling yourself, the beliefs that you've held on to for a long time, you've got to get in the right mindset. And that is something that's very personal to me. I self coach myself almost every single day.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. You're the person who taught me how to self-coach, and it changed my life. It changed my life, and I I shared it in my Fun to Be Fit Over 50 group, as you know, and, as well as I can. I mean, that's not my specialty. It's not my specialty, but I'm like, this is information that, could help somebody else. And so yeah, I love that. I think it is. It's so important to have the right mindset and to know that you can actually self coach and, you know, yeah. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, we tell ourselves a lot of stories and a lot of stories that maybe even went back to our childhood or our high school years or whatever stage of your life. And you can rewrite those stories and rewire your brain so that, what are the stories you want to really believe and get to that point and get to the other side.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. I remember you telling me that when I first hired you. And I was like, I could see the vision of it, but I wasn't there yet. And
Yeah.
to now hear that being on the other side, I'm like, it's so true. It's so true. Yeah, so great.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, a lot of people understand it intellectually, but
Hmm.
unless you actually do the daily habit or ritual of, getting into your own thoughts and observing the thoughts that you're thinking and the things that you're saying to yourself. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I looked in the mirror and how I was talking to myself. I don't talk to myself that way anymore. And, that's a game changer as well.
Yeah, that definitely boosts confidence to, talk kindly about yourself rather than
Yeah.
not kindly.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So, how has this journey shaped your purpose and the work you do today with the women you work with?
Yeah, I would say a couple things. One, just I can't say enough about mindset. I think half the battles many of us career-driven women struggle with is, we're nailing it in our career, but our health is suffering, or we might be nailing it in this one area of our life and some other area is suffering. And my sole purpose is to, help empower women to, you know, be just be authentic and also thrive in all these different areas of their life because your health you have to start with your health though. Your health is absolutely, the game changer to all these other areas. I can't show up for my clients. I can't show up in the training room unless my health and wellness and well-being is on point.
So true. So true. For someone over 50 who feels stuck or discouraged with their health, what is one simple step they can take to get started?
Yeah. I would say to think about what is the one area along health and well-being that they want to tap into. If it's drinking more water, if it's you always say optimize your protein and that's just one small step. Just get started and take one little small step. When we try to do so many different things, we become overwhelmed. But when we say, okay, if I want to drink more water, you know this about me. That was one that I worked on for a really long time. Is,
You're not
instead of,
alone. There are a lot of people.
I know, I know. Instead of going for a gallon, start with two glasses, it just starts small, and I would say to myself, like, what's one thing I can do that's 1% better than yesterday? Not 10 or 50% better than yesterday. What's one thing I can do today that's 1% better than yesterday? One small step, those baby steps will have a big impact in the end.
Oh, yes. And that is the hardest answer to actually listen to when you are stuck. But
Yeah.
it is the best answer. I mean, everybody that I've interviewed to this point, they all said the same thing, with their own health journeys. I am the first person that likes to like tackle the whole thing. So I get it. But when I look back to when I've been successful at anything with my health and wellness, it's because I took one small step, one small step. So, so
Yes,
true. Love
it's
it.
so true.
Hmm. What advice would you give to women who feel ready to change but are hesitant to begin?
I would answer the question, what, why, or what is their compelling why to make a change? When your why is big enough, when you have a compelling reason, if it's to for me, I love rollerblading, but I'm in Northern Arizona now, and there's just not a whole lot of places, but I still rollerblade with my daughter when I go back to San Diego. I hike all over the place here, but I also think that it's something that I wanna rollerblade with my daughter into my 70s. I'm
Mm.
58. I wanna be rollerblading on Mission Bay with my daughter in my 70s. So, that is my biggest why. I wanna do the things that I love to do, and that's very important to me.
Ah, wonderful. So, a final question here. What
Mhm.
does fun to be fit over 50 mean to you?
Oh, I love this question. Fun to be fit over 50 means, to me, not just being physically fit, but being fit in all the areas of your life, whether it's physically, mentally, socially, emotionally, spiritually. We need to be fit in all of the areas of our life. And we need to be doing the things that we love to do. And that's the fun part of it. That's what it means to me.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. You know what the other thing I love too, and I think I've brought it up a few times, since I've got back into since I quit corporate America and stuff, but that circle of life that you showed me, where it has like the 12 different pie areas that, I never really considered or asked myself the question of like, am I balanced in my relationship with my family or like my home environment or work or, spirituality? Like, it's so true that and then to kind of like not have everything perfect all the time, but it's so nice to just kind of check in with all those areas. And you taught me that. Like, I mean, I was always like, okay, let's fit and healthy. I knew how to do that, but I never looked at other parts of I mean, not, I did, but not, I mean, I did, of course, like a normal person would, but never really looked at it in an eye of like, I could change something about this if it needs changing or improve it or, uh,
Yes. Yes.
mm,
One of the areas that resonates a lot about you and me is you talk a lot about joy, and joy is one of the slices on the pie. And
yeah,
that one is a huge one for me.
yeah.
And you
Oh,
talk
me
about
too.
joy a lot.
I
Yeah.
do. Yeah. I love feeling joyful. I mean, you can't always feel joyful. You got to have balance there too, right? But
Yeah, for
but
sure.
it's a good one to go for.
I
Well,
agree.
thank you so much, Cindy, for doing this. I admire you so much, and I'm so happy for people to learn about a fasting lifestyle. How can people get a hold of you?
So I am Cyndi Uelen on Facebook. Also Cyndi Uelen Coaching on Instagram, Cyndi Uelen on LinkedIn, and then my website is cindyuelen.com.
Oh, nice, and I'll put that in the description too for everybody.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you even more.
Before we go, I want to share something important. This podcast is all about sharing real life experiences, insights, and inspiration, but it's not a substitute for professional medical advice. I'm your cheerleader and fellow traveler on this journey, not your doctor. Everyone's body is different. What works for me or my guests might not be right for you. So please always check with your healthcare provider before starting any new fitness routine, changing up your eating habits, or trying something new. You know your body best, and partnering with a good doctor is part of taking care of that beautiful body of yours. This show is for educational and informational purposes only. By listening, you agree that you're ultimately responsible for your own health decisions. Now go out there and have some fun being fit.